so we get the people in the building, yeah, before we start talking, Anna. Yeah. You don't mind? Yeah. So we get the people in the building, yeah, before we start talking, Anna. You don't mind? Yeah. So we get the people in the building, yeah, before we start talking, Anna. Oh, let's mute them. You don't mind? Me too. Yeah. Oh, let's mute them. You don't mind?
Beefy, I've shared the link, not the Hangouts link, but your YouTube link and all the Hangouts in it.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I said trip in what we need. Or everyone comes in.
We're not starting yet, and I just got to bring my daughter the laptop. So
yeah, cool, bro.
We're not starting yet, are we?
Yeah.
Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, you're in the building. I'm playing anyway. Big up everyone in the building. Big up everyone in the chat. Today we're gonna have a little discussion about the Torah. No debate, hopefully no passer, but hopefully give you a lot of information out there. That's what I'm about, is bringing out deliver information. That's what I'm about. So hopefully you guys enjoy the show today. And if there are any questions afterwards as well for the panel from the chat, that's always welcome at a later point. No problemo. But you know how I start my shows all the time. I'm gonna play my song, the song everyone should be sharing, because we're gonna have to make this viral this year. Yeah. Let me just get that ready.
Hey, listen, yo, we used to be some warriors, brothers, just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you to leak out. Used to be some warriors, brothers, just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you to leak out. When it comes to real ops, you never back. Killing your own kind is a gang. When it comes to real ops, you never bang. Killing your own kind is a gang. If it's on and you just pull out your phone, I know you're pussy. Put a burner to officer's door. A roast cookie, it could be his first day on the job. I ghost rookies, ain't crib. I'm down to set trip. I'm a walk talkie. It's stone cold. These young bucks are dying over postcodes. Roads they don't own, cocaine, diamonds, and rose gold. With a popo, put brown babies in chokeholds. Broken bones and cocos are getting so old. We should be waking up from that hematocroid. Wrapping up the void. Mash them up, destroy them. Man could take on the army if they deploy them. That's why they try to keep us sedated with all this poison. Throw your fist up and recognize. Keep targeting our kids if we let them slide. I ain't telling lies, they got our differences weaponized. As long as cops are your ops, you're a friend of mine. Used to be some warriors, brothers, just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they're knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you to leak out. Used to be some warriors, brothers, just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they're knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you to leak out. When it comes to real ops, you never back. Killing your own kind is a gang. When it comes to real ops, you never bang. Killing your own kind is a gang. They hate us cause they ain't us and they ain't us. Minors, we majors, don't try us, we dangerous. Flamers, never tame shit. We throwing fire at the lamest. I aim and blaze it, rearranging the agents' faces. 11 need fresh prints, we keep it aces. Before the bells air, my uncle filled in the basics. I burn these fools with petite tools. Run up on the free stooges, tell them keep cool. I want the dweller or the man of Philippe too. Slap him with the rapper, tell him Casper Knight. See through the system, kill a man in cold blood. And it's legal, that's why I grip the eagle. I do this for my people. Squeeze through and leave his grill sour like the diesel. Call my thing righteous badness. I ain't evil, night ethers. Ride out, it's our time now. Fuck cops, buck shots, keep them lights out.
Used to be some warriors, brothers just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they're knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you leak out. Used to be some warriors, brothers just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they're knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you leak out. When it comes to real ops, you never back. Killing your own kind is a gang. When it comes to real ops, you never back. Killing your own kind is a gang.
Rob, man, we didn't steal lots. Let them shots bang until the steel's hot. And brother, man, is still hot. No need to talk about the that we still got. Still got my brothers in the still box. Grieve for the youngest getting killed off. We ain't been diseased by them ill cops. Real G's got beef with the real ops. For your brother, man, your auntie. Pigs coming, man, are dancing like a shanty. Don't be funny like no bad breed. When it's time to face the ops, you turn Gandhi. Yeah, we want peace, but we still got the peace if they want peace. Facts. Squash the beast, every squash beat. Guide people, we made them ups.
Used to be some warriors, brothers just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they're knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you leak out. Used to be some warriors, brothers just looking weak now. Police brutality on the youngest, they're knocking teeth out. Fitting revolution, there's nothing for us to speak about. Open up a place, I want you leak out. When it comes to real ops, you never back. Killing your own kind is a gang. When it comes to real ops, you never bang. Killing your own kind is a gang.
Checkmate. Who's going to be the checkmate today? Big up everyone in the building. Let's get back to the screen.
Bangladese.
Big up everyone in the building. Almo, Black Spice, Captain Rambo, Baker, Ezra, Jedi, New Urban Sniper, Chisu, TN Zulu. Big up everyone in the building. Yeah, we're gonna have a little discussion. Not a discussion. We're gonna be asking a few questions to our Hebrew brothers about the Torah, get some knowledge out there, share some information. We want to hear maybe a bit about the origins of the Torah and stuff like that. So yeah, big up everyone in the building. Let's see who's in the chats. Big up Anonymous, Council of Nice Ears, David Hudson, Joel, Kemo in the building, Linus Lenz in the building. Big up everyone there. Share the link, like up the thing. It's gonna be a good discussion. Yeah, first of all, before we start, I'd like to get maybe go through the panel, quick 1 minute. What everyone thinks of the Torah, what it is to them and stuff like that. Start off with you, Amo. Amo, you there?
Oh, peace. Oh, are you talking to me?
Yeah. I just want to.
Oh yeah, peace, Alvin. Yeah, what up?
I was just gonna say, I was saying, what is when we say the Torah? When someone says the Torah to you, what is your understanding of the Torah? What it means to you?
The Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, and Genesis. Right? That's the first 5 books of the Bible. in Leviticus. I left that out. So that's what the Torah is. Okay.
Was it a book? Maybe is it a book or is it oral? Do you know original?
It is both. It was
Okay.
carried out orally for a long time, but the whole text was written during the Persian period.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ezra, same question to you. What does the Torah mean to you? Not like Ezra.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, man, bless up everyone. Still, yeah. Same as Alvin, really. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. Yeah, which was passed down from the ancestors orally. And then when it got to the time of Moses, yeah, he actually wrote it. You know, he was interpreting it from the Most High.
Okay, cool. Zulu, you have another Hebrew on the panel.
I believe the Torah is the origin of mankind, the establishment of a nation, and the laws and commandments for this nation.
Okay. Any other Hebrews representing Hebrews on the panel? I think those are 3 main ones. So they're going to be posing a few questions to our Hebrew brothers. So maybe they can enlighten us on their beliefs and their faith. We'll be mainly focusing on the Torah today. So we'll get the information out there for the people. People can go out and research. We hope we're going to be showing a lot of evidence, showing a lot of delil. Yeah, so yeah. Anyone else on the panel want to have a quick word?
Nah, I'm good.
Sis, Black Spice?
I actually don't know too much about the Torah, so yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll learn a lot today. Hopefully we'll learn a bit today.
Yeah.
Empress? Becca?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just dealing with my son. For all I know about the Torah is it's meant to be like obviously like what the brothers were just saying, like the first 5 books in it. But my knowledge of it is not that good, so like I don't really like to speak on things that I'm not really educated on too tough. I've heard about the Torah, but I don't know the depths of it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Captain Rambo, big up to yourself, sir.
Salute, Beefy, one love, fam.
My
Guiding the new generation. Well, the Torah is a Hebrew word called the Tanakh, and the Tanakh is the laws, what was given to Moses, to the children of Israel, or the tribe of the 12 tribes. And also the Tanakh, or the Torah, also is a scripture what was really grafted out of the ancient Tamarian laws called Ma'at. Yeah? And it was, and the push, and my understanding of the Torah or the laws was to keep man in tune or in check with his creative sustainer. So basically, that's my understanding, and my Tamarian or Kemetan or Egyptian understanding that laws what was given to Moses, because Moses was actually educated in Egypt, and he was a child who was raised up to a level and to degrees of knowledge where he was given while he was in Egypt of knowledge just under the Pharaoh Ramesses, I think the second. So Moses had certain laws already with him, and my understanding that when the Hebrews or the Israelites of today was given a small proportion of those laws, what was handed down, as I think it was Ezra just said, that the ancestors or the Elohims. That's my understanding, and maybe Nubian Sniper Maku would clarify that and add to it. But that's my understanding. Salute, BT.
Yeah, cool. Man like Sniper, you want to add anything before we start? Man like Sniper. No? Man like Jedi in the building, Red Pill Trail in the building. Remember, go on to Mixtape Madness. Like up Red Set Tripping by Red Pill Trail, yeah? Like up the thing, share the thing, yeah? Yeah, Jed, anything to say on the topic? Yeah, Jed, are you there? I think you're still at work. Okay, me, I'm gonna give my brief understanding of what the Torah is. For me, what I understand of Torah is that it's a collection of laws from African schools of mystery and from different time scales. And in my language, the Torah can mean two things. We can say like Torah, which means say something, and Torah, which means take something. So for me, I think it's just maybe saying of the laws and taking of the laws, basically of human nature. To me, that's my basic understanding of it. But we're gonna hopefully get the Hebrew Israelite thought of it. Because I know there's we've got Hebrews, we've got Christians and everything, but we're gonna be focusing on the Hebrew Israelites school of thought today, from where they take the Torah, what the Torah is to them. Yeah, and we're gonna have Brother Shitsu as our moderator. Yeah.
Big up. 2 minutes for everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get it cracking. Yeah. So I don't know if I should be asking the first question, if you don't mind. Then we'll have Ezra answering the first question. Then
yeah, and could we address whether the Torah comes from Egypt thing later on down the line? We don't got
don't worry, but
we'll address that.
Remember, we're asking questions anyway, so whatever you want to answer is how you answer it. So we're just asking questions. Yeah. If you disagree with what Rambo said, of course, it's your opinion, innit? You're just getting your understanding of what the Torah is from the Hebrew school of thought. That's what we're asking, bro. You know what I mean? No pastor. No pastor. We're full already. We're out today. Okay. My question to all my three brothers is a simple one. What is the oldest Torah we have in use today?
I can answer that.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna start with Ezra. I'm gonna give his answer.
Oh, you're starting with Ezra. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll wait for my
hopefully turn. Can give the evidence of show us maybe a little something in the back chat we can share so that people can see at home. So we're sharing information, not just talking, bring delay, bring evidences, and that's the best way we're going to be moving forward now with our information. So yeah, if Ezra, if you want to start with Ezra, you there?
Okay, yeah, man. Shalom, everyone. Don't know. Yeah, so like the oldest manuscripts of the Torah that we have, are in the Dead Sea Scrolls, but that's not what we was always using. They just confirm what we was always using because they've been found recently in it. So yeah, at the time of 3rd century, Israelites from Egypt translated the ancient Hebrew manuscripts what were there, which we have thousands of still today. Yeah, they translated those manuscripts to Turin, which was in Greek, because obviously at the time Egypt and Jerusalem, Judea, all this area was conquered by Greeks, and Greek was the language. So the Septuagint was translated from Hebrew into Greek, and then later on translated into Ethiopian, then translated into English, Old English, you know what I'm saying? So like we've got many different translations of languages that come later to the Septuagint. Yeah, they all match. That's the thing. That's the most important point. Yeah, even though we've had translations translated from these manuscripts all over the world, they're all matching until we get to the later dates where Europeans, the Renaissance, and the Europeans have got their hands on these scriptures now. And now it's like we're getting all these other translations that don't match, but the earliest ones do match. I hope that's understood.
Yeah. Brother, oh sorry, I'm not the moderator. She's the moderator. I'll keep quiet.
Yeah, go. His 2 minutes have just up. So it's 2 minutes to just up.
Brother Amos,
It's my turn?
yeah.
Is it my? Oh, okay. So,
All right. So basically, it's what Ezra said. I mean, the oldest physical copies of the Torah is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And that is what we have access today. And there's checks and balances. You can see how the Dead Sea Scrolls lines up with the Septuagint and lining up how it lines up with the Masoretic text. And, you know, it's the same stories. When you look at Deuteronomy in the Dead Sea Scrolls, or the fragments of Deuteronomy in the Dead Sea Scrolls, okay, it matches up with what you see in the King James. All right. Now, you want here? Okay, you want to see the physical copies of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Here, let me pull this up for you. Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay.
If you just drop in the back chat, I can share it to everyone.
Okay, let me drop this in the back chat. Museum. It's in the Israel Museum. Okay.
50 seconds. 50 seconds.
If you could,
well, okay. I'll bring
it up. Carry on talking, Alvin.
Okay, here I'll put it right there because my computer don't work. But there's, you know, if you want to see what they are, if you want to investigate that. But anybody can go look at the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's even translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls online if you want to. If you personally want to compare what's in the Dead Sea Scrolls compared to what's in the King James, you can do that online. I'll give you the link to that as well. That's it. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
You got 10 seconds left.
Oh no, that's all I need. I'm done. I'll give my time to somebody else.
All right.
Zulu?
Hold on. Wait. Is he ready?
yeah, I also agree with everything that Ezra and Alvin said, so I don't want to waste anyone's time. Let me continue.
Okay, Michael, you got a question for my brothers? Michael, Captain Rambo. Captain, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I've got a question for our Hebrew brothers.
Well, no, because we understand where the Dead Sea Schools was founded, and that it was more than it was. Basically, they still try to translate the Dead Sea Scrolls to this day. Yeah, what they revealed. So basically, my understanding about these Dead Sea Scrolls, they were written by the Essenes, a group of brethren of a spiritual order, as well as, and I read these were in papyrus, meaning that the Dead Sea Scrolls, they were in, I don't want to say hemp, but they were written in a hemp form of paper, what is really almost over 1,000 years old.
I'm showing on my screen right now.
Really, huh?
I'm showing on my screen right now. I don't think you can see my screen.
Yeah. Right, they're still translating it. That's what I'm saying. They're still finding and still working it out. But there was I believe, to my understanding, there was a saying that the Dead Sea Scrolls, the last written scripture, not scriptures, but written words of the ancient. I say the last of the 46 dynasty, where Egypt was getting was linking with Rome, or where Egypt of what modern Europeans overstand where Egypt is Alexandria, where it was really Europeanized anyway. Yeah, through that's where the Dead Sea Scrolls come from, and it's also the missing or the stolen books what came from Timbuktu of the biggest library. So there's a lot of allegations and hearsay and dare say where
Time's up. Time's up. Sorry, Captain. Time's up.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm go. What's the answer? Okay, I want to follow up question. Hopefully, we still stay on track. Was as for the oldest, yes. Can maybe the Hebrew brothers give us the chronological order, like which came first in history? Was it Septuagint, the order which everything was found is discovered as well, like the Septuagint, then came out. Someone said a Masoretic text, then there came the Bible, and then the Dead Sea Scrolls. Can someone give us a order on how they were discovered and which way? If you got
okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah. First of all, Ezra.
Yeah, man. So basically, yeah, we have the oldest. Like, if we're going by the oldest dates, not the oldest time found, the oldest dates of manuscripts, yeah, would be the Dead Sea Scrolls. They are dated to the oldest, even though I don't necessarily subscribe to those dates, but these are the dates we're given. So the order would be the Dead Sea Scrolls as the oldest, then the other thousands of Hebrew manuscripts we've got found in fragments, some in like full copies, yeah. Then it comes down to the Septuagint, because the Septuagint is just a translation of those ancient scrolls. But the only point I'm making is the ancient scrolls that were found before the Dead Sea Scrolls, yeah, the ancient scrolls that were translated into the Septuagint match the later Dead Sea Scrolls which were found in 1940s. So let's break it down. We've got all these manuscripts here, found all over the world, Hebrew manuscripts. Yeah, they've been translated into the Septuagint, and then from there we get the Bibles we have today. And then later on, like thousands of years later, we found the Dead Sea Scrolls, which also match manuscripts. So they are just confirmation of what we already had. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, you still got 30 seconds, Ezra.
Still.
Yeah, 20 seconds now.
You finished, Ezra?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay,
like I said,
you want to come in?
No, I'm
Yeah,
cool.
it's my turn.
Cool now.
Yeah, whenever Ezra finishes, yeah, you tend to answer. So
Oh, he was still talking on there.
All right, we ready?
By the way, I'm back.
Okay, all right. Well, we need to give a brief overview of what we've asked, so Maku can.
I think when Alma is talking, Mac will get it. Here we are.
All right.
No, continue, man.
Whenever he's ready, I'll start the timer.
Go on when you're ready, fam.
Alvin.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's basically more of the same. I agree with what Ezra just said. That's the order in which it goes.
Come in,
and
Papa.
the King James Bible is translated from the Masoretic text, which is roughly around 900, somewhere between 800 and 900 AD. And the Masoretic text, what's interesting is the Masoretic text actually lines up more with the Dead Sea Scrolls than it does the Septuagint. When you look at the textual variance between those two, it's more closer to the Dead Sea Scrolls than the Septuagint, you know. And even in the Septuagint, even though it's translated into Greek, the name of Yahweh is put in Aramaic. So it's kind of interesting. You have, all of these texts written in Greek, and then when you get to the name of Yahweh, they put the Aramaic letters right there. I find that interesting. But I digress. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Well, Zulu, when you're ready, but for Shisha to give you a time.
Yeah, hold on.
I
He
haven't
still
got
had 1 minute
anything
left, but if
to
he
interject at the
stopped, then
moment.
I'll start it again.
Yeah, he said it's finished. Yeah.
All right.
I
Whenever you're ready,
haven't got
mate.
anything
You
to
ready?
interject. I haven't got anything to interject at the moment. I agree also with what has been said.
Okay. Oh,
Okay, Michael.
Go, Maku.
What you been hearing? With a question for our brothers?
Yeah, as I was saying earlier to Brother Alvin, like what you were saying was inconsistent because of the fact that these parchments and bits and pieces are not complete. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand how you can say that the whole thing's been translated when we can clearly see here that there's small parts of it that are missing in love, and they're having to fragment. The word fragment is used. So having to piece it together. So I don't know how you can say that is the and when the timeline don't match up, obviously. You know what I'm saying? We can understand that there will be some verses in there that match up with those texts. But the text again is not in Hebrew, it's in Aramaic. So, you know, we still got a problem there when it comes to the language. And with Aramaic and Amharic, you can see that these languages are similar. You get what I'm saying, and have similar origins. So the ones that the Ethiopians would have had would have been in Amharic, which is a form of Aramic. You get what I'm saying? So this is the point that we're trying to make. So there's no connection, it seems, between until we get to the 1400s when these guys come with this modern Hebrew. There is no Hebrew before. There is no such thing as a Hebrew tribe. It's just a description in the language of Arcadians. You understand? So you have to know linguistics and language, the root of language. To be a Hebrew is just to cross a river. To be one person crossing, and at that time it related to the Tigris Euphrates. So we can't say that they're a tribe or an ethnic group. That is a fallacy. You know what I'm saying? But we can understand.
Time's up, Maku.
Yeah.
Sorry, time's up. Time's up.
May I interject?
Go on, Captain, quickly. Yeah.
Well,
the Hebrews coming afterwards. Go on.
No, as I would like to put out when we say when people like to say that it comes from the Dead Sea Scrolls, I would like to say what was the missing books, because there were other Hebrew texts, yeah, like scriptures of Adipha and Enoch and all of those other great prophets, and not even called prophets. They were called they were like one with the Elohims. They're not mentioned in the Bible or in most of the Torahs of today or the Tanochs of today, because these are the missing. When we say when we say that there were Dead Sea Scrolls and missing scriptures, I want to know what are the names of these missing scriptures, because the people are just remember it's like the people is voided then, because half of the books what people claim that are missing, they're still not reviewed to the people and to the Hebrew, and we all know that there were other manuscripts was still not reviewed. So when people say they come from ancient Egypt or come from other civilizations, there were other scriptures called like the Imam Melish, the Epic of the Gilgamesh, yeah, and the tablet, the sacred scrolls of Adipha, all of these other great missing great people who the Hebrews themselves took out on purpose. They don't talk about Barnabas, you know, and they don't talk about these other things. So let me just tie it there, because with these stuff here, it's like, come on, we don't come from Kazan, we're not those Jewish, you know what I mean? We're not those type of.
Time's up, Rambo. Sorry, time's up.
I don't really say, cool.
Okay, I think so. We could keep the flow going. So my next question to our brothers, yeah, would be, for for each one of you, when you say the oldest one, it was Septuagint or the thing. Can you give us a language of each of those texts? What language they were revealed in, or what language they're written in? The text, the Masoretic text, the Septuagint, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Then maybe we can, so maybe start from there.
Could I answer that?
Whoever wants to go first out of you three.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, to
Hold
address
on.
Okay.
All right, go on, start.
Okay, first I gotta address Michael. I just put a link to all of the scrolls of Deuteronomy in the Dead Sea Scrolls that's been translated. It's just virtually almost the same book. I think it's like 2 or 3 chapters missing. I just put that on the side. Like if anybody want to check that out, you can go through each one of those scrolls. It is if we don't want to call it fully complete, I guess you could say that. But there is enough to where you can look at these texts and look at what's in the Bible we have now, King James Version Bible, and you can compare and contrast the different translations or whatever. Okay, so that's number one. And now number two, goodness gracious, what was that last question you just said, Beefy?
The language in which, like
the language. Okay.
You mentioned the Septuagint. You mentioned the Masoretic text. You mentioned the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So look at that. Look at that right there, Beefy. What you got on your screen? What language does it say that's written in? Hebrew.
The language Hebrew.
Yeah. So that's a translation of the Dead Sea Scrolls, Deuteronomy, chapter 1. Okay, so the Dead Sea.
Sorry. Is it Paleo Hebrew or what Hebrew is this? When we know the difference.
That is regular Hebrew. The book of Job is written in Paleo Hebrew. If you go right here, you could go down to Job, and some of Job is actually written in Paleo Hebrew. But this right here was written in regular Hebrew. So the Dead Sea Scrolls has actually 3 languages. The majority of it is in Hebrew. Some of it is in Aramaic, and I think they even have some that are written in Greek. But the overwhelming majority of the Dead Sea Scrolls are in Hebrew. Matter of fact, the Great Isaiah Scroll is exclusively all in Hebrew, right? Now the Septuagint is all the way Greek. That was for the Jews in Alexandria who lost their language. They weren't speaking Hebrew anymore. They were speaking Greek, much like how African Americans in America no longer speak.
Time's up, bro. Sorry.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, cool.
You want like Ezra or Zulu? When you get a shot from Shito?
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yeah, go on, start.
Just to also finish what Alvin was about to say. When you look at the Hellenized Jews that wrote the Septuagint, a lot of people stray away from the Septuagint because they think it's a Greco corruption, or it's a way of mixing a Greek culture into the scriptures. It's simply just a translation to the dominant language at the time, just like how now the Bible is translated into English because it is the dominant language today. If the dominant language today was Spanish, the dominant language in the Bible would be written in Spanish for us to understand, or translated into Spanish. So at that time, obviously the Greeks had an empire and they ruled most of that region. So if you were to spread a message to those people scattered around this region, it would make sense to make it in the language that is most commonly used at the time, which would be Greek, due to the colonization of the Greco peoples onto the Northeast Africans.
You've got 1 minute left, mate. You can keep going.
I'm finished, bro.
All right. Hold on. Let me reset it. And then Ezra can go. All right. Whenever you're ready, Ezra.
Okay. My bad. I was on the phone. What's the question again?
Can you give us the languages the text you before have mentioned were revealed in, like the Tanakh, the Septuagint, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Masoretic text?
Okay. Yeah, like Alvin said, the Old Testament and Torah is translated from Hebrew. As we get right to the end of the Tanakh, which means the prophets, you get me? It's like the Old Testament. So as we get towards the end, you do start seeing Aramaic text. Yeah. But like that's obviously, that's just a lingua franca of the time, and it just like how you said Greek was. At the time before that, it was Aramaic. So it was translated into there towards the end of the prophets. And then the New Testament was translated from Greek because it was written in Greek to Greek-speaking Jews, Hellenized Jews. So that's why it's in Greek, because the Maccabean slaves were taken into Greece and forced to become Greek. Following the Torah will get your head cut off in Greece. Trying to keep the Sabbath will get your head cut off. Yeah. It was forbidden, like it says in the book of Maccabees. So after a while, guess what? You're going to start thinking you're Greek when all your customs are taken away from you, just like we thought we're American and all of this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Israelites that were taken into Greece became Hellenized, and that's why Paul was writing to them in Greek, because that's the language they spoke.
Okay.
You still got 30 seconds.
Yeah. See, I don't really make long points no, but yeah. That's it really. Ancient texts are in it. Paleo-Hebrew. Later on it comes into Aramaic a little bit, tiny bit, and then into the Greek.
So you're saying the Dead Sea Scrolls in 3 languages then? Or is it just one language?
All right.
For me,
time ran out. You want me to start again?
Yeah. You said again.
All right, cool. I'll start again.
New question.
Go on, Ezra.
Well, it's written in 3 languages. I just said the majority of it is Hebrew. Most of it is in Hebrew. Some of it's in Aramaic, and some of it is even written in Paleo-Hebrew, actually.
Ezra, do you acknowledge that? We got different understanding. Or Zulu?
Yeah, my bad. That's the same thing I said, fam. Same thing.
Yeah. I'm just getting clarity in it. This is a quick question, innit? We can get clarity so we don't come on repeating ourselves, innit? Yeah, so right now I'm gonna get Mercury come in, say something, and then Captain Robert say something, then from there we'll ask the next question. We want to get a lot of different angles of things. I mean, go on.
I'm ready.
You've got 1 minute left if someone wants to talk.
Is it in relation to a new question?
No.
Okay, then I have nothing to say.
All right. So.
Hold on, Maku. Let me start it. Let me start the timer again. All right, whenever you're ready.
All right. Now to claim like the Dead Sea Scrolls, yeah, biblical translations, yeah. So now this process would have happened, yeah, after they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. So this information here is semi-false, because if you look at it, it's a Deuteronomy. The language is Hebrew, which is not. It's Aramaic before Hebrew. Hebrew is a new concept. It's a new language. It's like it was supposedly dead off and then resurrected in the 1400s by these Ashkenazim Jews. So we can rub that out. The language of Jesus Christ and that time was Aramaic. You understand? So that is, and then the familiarity that you only got Deuteronomy. Where's Genesis? Where's Genesis? Where's the bits that are same to Genesis? Where's
Up there, right at the top, you see a screen. Genesis right there.
To Numbers and all of them. So you're saying that every single chapter of
Look at the top of the screen. It says Genesis. Right
hold
there.
on, Alvin. Hold on, man.
Oh, my bad. I think so.
Hold on. Go on, Maku.
It's that are similar, most probably because we're trying to say that the order of the scene separated themselves from modern society. That means that anything that you're reading in those that are similar must be the correct versions of the text, because they're not called Deuteronomy according to the Essenes. So that's a fallacy. You get what I'm saying? But we understand that the texts will be similar. So whose is more authentic? Is it the people writing the Bible? You get what I'm saying? Or is it the Essenes? You get what I'm saying? So the Essenes version for me would be more authentic because they were more
10 seconds.
intent in what they were doing in their research and going to the Dead Sea and setting up in the Qumran caves and that. You know what I'm saying?
Time's up.
Just to elaborate on that, Maku is 100% right on that. And just to even add a bit more, that the Essenes were well known for traveling, studying, and they were very highly intelligent group, intelligent men who will go out and research and study these things. That's the thing. And remember this, you know, today when we learn about Hebrew or Israelite and everything else, we have to just realize that, come on, man, it was all events. Hebrew, as Michael was saying, it wasn't even a language. It was just an event of what took place. So when people say, ancient, the language was Hebrew, it wasn't. We have to stop saying it was Hebrew because it wasn't that. It was Aramaic, and Cyrillic is what produces what we call Arabic today. So those two languages is the languages what gave birth to these broken, mistranslated, misinterpreted language of today. And English, look what we're speaking in now. None of us ain't speaking Hebrew. You know what I mean? We're all speaking into another language. To translate anything from Hebrew now is damn impossible because you don't say that Hebrew was even grafted out of Greek. Yeah. No problem. I'm done. Move on to the next question.
Okay. For me, my next question.
Hold on, I'm a bit behind. Hold on, let me start again.
I don't take long. It's just a question, anyway. So,
all right, whenever you're ready, let's go.
Yeah. So we established like the languages, the different book, different texts, and that. So I think my next question from there, actually, that will be: of the 4 texts, can we pinpoint which one is been in use from the beginning, up to now, like the long? So we want to know the one which has been used the longest, not the one which is the oldest, but the one which has been used the longest. Like which one is the first one that they're using in history up to today? Not the one which is discovered like the Dead Sea Scrolls, but the one which was being used first. Like was it the Septuagint? Was it the Masoretic text? So we get a chronological order of how things came along in history. That's for me. So
can I respond to
that? Yeah.
Okay. So it depends on what phase you're talking about. During the Persian period, they have Hebrew text that we don't even have access to anymore. The only fragment we have of that is the Silver Scrolls, and that's dated like in the 6th century BC. Now, if you go to the 1st century, the majority of people are using the Septuagint at that time period, right? And then when you go from 700 AD to now, the Masoretic text has been the one that has been most used for the past 1,200 years, more or less, because that's what the King James Bible was translated from, the Masoretic text. So that's the one been most used. And I have to address something that Michael said. Hebrew is just like all other languages. They go through phases. So there was a Hebrew language. It's just different as in phases. Just like you have modern English, Victorian English, you have Old English, you have Anglo-Frasian. None of them sound the same, but they're still English, but they're different phases. So you have Hebrew, and then you have the more archaic style of Hebrew that they call Paleo Hebrew that people were speaking like in 900 BC. What is especially the Great Isaiah Scroll in the Dead Sea Scrolls, that is not Aramaic. It is emphatically not Aramaic. It is Hebrew. Like that's just what it is. You can look at the syntax, you can look at the letters. That is Hebrew. Now,
I've got a link to text. I've got a link to the text.
Hold on, he wasn't finished yet, BT. Hold on.
Okay. No, that's fine. Here, let me give you a link to the Great Isaiah Scroll. Hold on.
Well, carry on saying what you said first, and then just post it in the chat.
So the Great Isaiah Scroll is written in Hebrew. Here, I'll put them right here. Okay, so yes, the common tongue was Aramaic at that time. But if you go into the temple, people were speaking Hebrew.
All right, time's up, mate.
Give me a 30 seconds for 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds.
All right, go on.
Okay, so what was happening in Israel in the first century is much like what's happening in Ethiopia now. When you go to Ethiopia, the majority of the people are speaking Amharic to each other in the streets. But when they go into the church, all of their books are written in Ge'ez. But Ge'ez is not spoken amongst them in the town. They speak Amharic. That's what was happening in Judea in the first century. People were speaking Aramaic to each other out on the street. But when they go in the temple, all of their books
Time's
were
up.
primarily in Hebrew.
Israel or whatever, Zulu. When Kito's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm reset it
You go
already.
first.
All right, go on, brother.
Zulu, Zulu or Israel.
Yeah,
No,
whichever.
no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Ezra?
All right, cool. Well, I ain't really got much to add to that. That's what I'm saying. I ain't really got much to add to it. Alvin just hit the nail on the head. Like, everyone can say what they want, but the proof is in the pudding. You get me? And if they're claiming that we're lying, yeah, prove it. It shouldn't be hard. You know what I'm saying? Like we're saying, yeah, we're saying the earliest scripts are in Paleo Hebrew. Then later, towards the end of the Tanakh, we start seeing Aramaic, and then yeah, it goes into Greek because that's what we were speaking at the time in our captivity. Yeah. So in America, yeah, the slaves that were taken to the Americas, yeah, if the people of Ghana wanted to write to them 200 years later, yeah, what do you think they would write to them in? Chromanti. Or they would find a language that they speak and write in and write to them in that, which would be English, obviously. Get me? So this is why you see Hebrews writing to people in Greek, because that's the language Hebrews were speaking at the time due to their captivity. And if anybody read the book of Maccabees or Esdras, you would know these things.
We're gonna bring up
Yo, you still got time, you know, Ezra.
Can I rebut that? Though?
I don't know what else to say. If I'm stoned, you get me? Like, how can they say that?
Hold on.
Not really.
Hold on. Let me start it again, Maku. I'll just put it on 3 minutes, yeah? Because in case you, I'll just put it on 5 minutes in case you lot do go back and forth, innit?
Yeah.
That way, we could just make sure if it's a back and forth, innit? But just when each other's speaking, just be on mute, innit? When you're making your points. All right, go.
Well, my point is then, your point is slightly back to front. Again, you don't do language. So I don't know how you can say Aramaic comes after Greek. It just doesn't make no sense. You get what I'm saying? And you
never said it comes after Greek.
Hold on one second. You're Greek.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
You're Hebrew Greek-Relite right now because your language that you spoke, it seems, was not Hebrew, it was not Aramaic, it was Greek. That's what you're claiming.
If you listen to Matthew, if you listen to what I actually said,
Okay.
yeah, it starts in Paleo Hebrew, then comes down, and then later towards the end of the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, yeah, you start seeing Aramaic, and then the New Testament is Greek. So at no point did I say, yeah, that the Greek comes before Aramaic. So that start your time again and say something else because that was irrelevant.
Well, all I'm saying is what's irrelevant is what you're saying because as Alvin mistakenly said, yeah, most of the Dead Sea Scrolls is in Aramaic. This is a fact. You get me? You won't.
Never said Alvin.
I never said that. I never said that.
Hold on. One at a time. We'll leave this between Maku and
You said the
Ezra,
majority.
and then I'll start a 5-minute timer, and then Alvin and Maku can go back and forth.
Everybody heard him, and we can go back on the chat. Matthew, 1 second. Everybody heard him. Everybody, Matthew, we can all revert. Listen, when this is finished, we can all rewind. And I clearly heard him say the majority is in Hebrew. Then you get Aramaic.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying that it's the other way around. Like you can't say the majority of it is in things Aramaic or Greek. Hebrew doesn't come into until later. You understand?
That's what we said. That's what we said, though. So what's your point?
That's not what you're saying, bro. That's not what you're saying. You're claiming that the Masoretic text that's in Greek, yeah, you're saying that because you were speaking Greek at that time. No, Greeks picked that
I said
information up.
The
I said
Masoretic's not in
Septuagint.
Greek.
Hold on, Alvin.
Oh, my bad. I'm
Let them.
sorry.
Listen, Matthew, you need to start listening.
Now, in
So I
the
said
order
the
of
Septuagint.
languages, now, in the order of languages, even if we said that in the order of languages and where languages come from, yeah, the root of Greek is not nowhere near what you lot are saying. You know what I'm saying?
Matthew, you understand? I said the Septuagint, not the Masoretic.
Where these Greco, what do you call it? Greco,
Hellenized Jew,
Hellenized Israelites.
Greekized, call it.
So they were basically Greeks. I don't know why you're claiming them. They're not you.
Fam.
No,
If,
Matthew. Hellenized
like I
doesn't
said, if
mean they're
No.
Greek.
Come on, one at a time, Zulu.
You hold on one second.
yeah,
Just let them two go back and
just make this
forth.
point.
Be
Matthew,
realistic.
Matthew, just make your point, fam. Let me respond to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let him respond, Maku, please. Go on, Ezra.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, like, at no point are we saying that the Greek came before the Aramaic or the Hebrew. At no point are we saying the Aramaic came before the Hebrew. Yeah, all we're saying is there was an order of things, and the reason why, is because if you knew anything about Maccabean slavery, Israelites being sold into Greece, then you would know that it was illegal to speak your own language in Greece, Antioch, Corinth, all of these places.
Okay.
It was controlled by Ptolemy, and he made a ruling.
Although you still got time. Beefy, you still got time.
Israelites cannot speak their own language or do any of their customs, which it clearly says in Maccabees. Yeah. So now, like I said, if your language and your customs are taken away from you, by the Greeks, and your forced Greek culture, what language are you going to be speaking 200 years later, Matthew?
What language are you going to be speaking 200 years later?
Yeah.
Greek.
Well then, so why would you write to them, somebody who's speaking in Greek, why would you write to them in Hebrew?
Are you Greek though?
Language they can't understand. Huh?
And
see what I'm saying?
Is Hebrew a biblical? Is
40 seconds.
Is Hebrew a biblical language?
Of course it is.
Well, Greek ain't. Is Greek a biblical language or pagan language?
Listen, I'm gonna break this down as simple as I can, fam. If Africans,
you got 20 seconds. You got 20 seconds.
If Nigerians are taken from Nigeria to America, and their language is stripped away from them, 200 years later, they will.
Maku, let him finish. Let him finish, because you're gonna run out of time.
20 seconds and he's cutting me off. Can't even wait the 20 seconds.
Right, you got 5 now.
Let me just finish my point there.
Right,
listen, all I'm saying is 200 years later, he's right there, man, because he cut me off. He cut me off, fam. All I'm saying is 200 years later, these Israelites are going to be speaking American. Yeah. Why would you write to them in a language they don't understand or can't read?
Okay, one second. Let me read what it says here about Paleo Hebrew. Yeah, so we'll get from the source itself.
I'm going to put it on another 5 minutes so you can go back and forth.
So everyone knows what we're talking about when we say Paleo Hebrew. Paleo Hebrew, also spelled Paleo Hebrew alphabet, is a variant of the Phoenician alphabet. Like the Phoenician alphabet, the Paleo alphabet contains 22 letters.
What? Sorry, say that again, Beefy. What?
Okay, I'll leave that again. Yeah. The Paleo Hebrew alphabet, also spelled Paleo Hebrew alphabet, is a variant of the Phoenician alphabet. Like the Phoenician alphabet, the Paleo Hebrew alphabet contains 22 letters, all of which are consonants and is described as an abjad. The term was coined by Solomon Birnbaum in 1954. He wrote, "To apply the term Phoenician to the script of the Hebrews is hardly subtle. Still, the script is nearly identical to the Phoenician script. Archaeological evidence of the use of the scripts by the Israelites for writing the Hebrew language dates to around
4 minutes left.
Century BCE, a common area. The Paleo alphabet began to fall out of use by the Jews in the 5th century BCE, when the Amharic alphabet was adopted as a predominant writing system for the Hebrew. The present Jewish square script alphabet, Hebrew alphabet, evolved from the Aramaic alphabet. The Samaritans now fewer than 1,000 people have continued to use this derivative of the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet, known as a Samaritan alphabet. While the use of the script is negligible nowadays, it is present in some symbolic usage, such as the A1 coin logo of the Israel or the New Hela. We'll go into the origins a bit later, so we can break it down some more. But what I'm hearing this Paleo Hebrew was what 1954, and is it a Phoenician alphabet? So is it a Phoenician language, or is it a different language? But we'll go on from there. I think
it all makes sense that the Phoenicians were in that region at a particular time. That's what it is.
Okay, maybe.
But it also debunks their theory. As I said,
why does Michael get another time to talk? Like
hold on. You're gonna get your chance to talk. Don't worry.
I did mention Aramaic and Amharic. So they're telling you that this came from the Aramaic via Amharic, and even the Jews switched to the Amharic. So how can the Septuagint in fucking Greek, be the root of your text?
Anyone want to go to what we read here? Can anyone explain when they go in?
Can I please? There's so many errors Michael said.
Okay, wait. Elmo, don't forget what Michael said. Yeah, I'm asking. You address. I'm asking the question. We know he said that the Paleo Hebrew. You both mentioned the Paleo Hebrew is the oldest form of Hebrew. Yeah. So here in what I've got up about the Paleo Hebrew, he's saying it is a variant of the Phoenician alphabet. So is a Hebrew a Phoenician language, or is something totally different?
Phoenician script is what everybody was using at the time. Aramaic used Phoenician script. Hebrews used Phoenician script. Phoenicians used Phoenician script. Just like how German, English, and Spanish all use Latin script. It's just.
All right, I'm going to start it again. So you got 5 minutes between you lot, the Hebrews, to go back and forth.
Okay, so first of all, before we hit live, I begged Michael, listen, if the topic is sandwiches, don't start talking about Ghostbusters. We were talking about what languages were in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he now flipped the conversation into the evolution of the Semitic language tree. We weren't talking about how Canaanite turned into Hebrew, then turned into Aramaic, and then we got Greek, and then now we're talking about the evolution of the Semitic script. Now we're talking about a completely different thing. And I begged him not to do that. So listen, this is what I'm going to say.
You brought up Paleo Hebrew, innit? So
let him go, Beefy. Let him go.
The question that was asked was, what are the Dead Sea Scrolls written in? Okay. And I said Hebrew, some of it is in Paleo Hebrew, and some of it is in Greek and Aramaic, right? So now, since we brought it up, let's go ahead and talk about the script, okay? There is a difference between script and language. Script is what you write on a piece of paper. Language is what's coming out of your mouth. So both English and German use Latin letters. But if you read a book written in German, just because you would be able to make out the sounds because you can read Latin letters, you had no idea what's written on there. So if you see a Hebrew written using Paleo Hebrew letters, or even Phoenician letters, or Canaanite letters, a person that speaks Canaanite is not going to understand what he's reading because he doesn't speak Hebrew. He speaks Canaanite. Even though they're using the same letters, it's a different language, okay? So what you see in the Dead Sea Scrolls, you see Hebrew script, and you see Paleo Hebrew script. But the words, the sounds that the words make are in Hebrew and Aramaic. The Canaanite language at this time was almost dead at this point. So I'm done. That's all I'm done.
No, you got some time left, bro. If anyone else, Ezra, wants to interject.
Yeah. He didn't even make no sense, did he? Come on, let's be real.
Hold on, Alvin, come on. Let's
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
go on,
Anyway,
Maku.
so at the end of the day, yeah, you're saying there's no similarity in language. There's no different
I
dialect.
didn't say that. Did you hear what
Alvin,
I said?
come on, Alvin, come on,
Oh,
let him
my bad.
finish,
Okay.
and then you go in it.
Kind of made still different languages in the same region. It just sounds so retarded. You get what I'm saying? The language.
Maku, no opponents. Come on.
That's why you need to study language. You get what I'm saying? And again, no one ain't gonna tell me how to do it. Right. So this is why we study linguistics, so we can understand like what language came out of what language. It makes life easier, bro. You get what I'm saying? It's not a disrespect. If the root language is Amharic or Aramaic, as you want to say it, you get what I'm saying? Then it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how you're making the difference between Hebrew and Aramaic as a completely different language and Paleo Hebrew.
I didn't say
Alvin,
my bad. I'm
Maku,
sorry.
come on.
I thought it was
Come
a
on.
back and forth. I didn't know it was. Okay.
No,
go
it
ahead.
can be a back and forth if you're both gonna stop, innit? Because there's no point talking to each other. If you both can stop, then I'll let you go back and forth. But if he's talking and then you start talking, do you know what I mean? So you finish,
Yeah, no,
Maku.
let's go.
Yeah.
Please,
That's the question. How can it be?
This is the moderator, so please listen to him. Yeah.
Yeah. So how can it be? Sorry, how can they be completely different languages when they're all from the same root language? That's the question I wanted to ask.
Alvin, go.
Because just like French, Spanish, and Latin are all derived from Latin, if a French person talks to a Spanish person, they're not going to understand what the hell each other are saying because they're different languages. They are in the same language family, they are in the same language class, but they're different languages because if a French person goes to Mexico, just because they're both Romance languages doesn't mean they're going to understand what each other is saying. So just because a person can speak Amharic,
Maku, let him finish.
Just because a person can speak Aramaic, and Aramaic is related to Hebrew because they're both in the Semitic family tree, that doesn't mean somebody that speaks Aramaic is going to listen to somebody who speaks Hebrew. Right.
And the Aramaic was the language of the Assyrians, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, it's like
that is Phoenician, yeah.
It's the same script, like Brother Alvin said to you earlier. It's the same exact script, yeah.
I'm gonna start it again.
But two different languages. Yeah. It's
so why?
Man.
All right.
I'm saying it's two different languages made out of the same script. Get me? Just like how we have English, French, Spanish, all these languages made out of the same exact letters that we write with. Yeah, they are different languages.
Come here, Papa.
That doesn't make no sense because Spanish and Italian.
So Spanish and English don't share the same script.
1 second. Spanish and Italian are very similar. So if you're Spanish, you can understand someone who's Italian, and you can vaguely understand.
No, they can't. They can't.
That's a lie.
Alvin, come on. Let him back to finish his point. Come on.
A whole. It don't make no sense.
Linguistics, fam.
Spanish now, and then I go to South America where they speak Hispanic, a form of Hispanic, or in some places they speak Portuguese. You get what I'm saying? But in majority they speak Spanish, a broken form, a different dialect. So someone from Spain listening to someone speak Mexican, you get what I'm saying, can understand them. This is why we know that languages are similar, and some languages only different dialects of others. There are no real complete foreign languages to each other. That doesn't exist.
And my thing as well.
So whether you make the distinction,
I'm just going from what's written here, innit? So what's written here, it says the Paleo Hebrew is a variant of the Phoenician alphabet. Cool. Like the Phoenician alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. Now he's saying it's two different things. So for me, it's a bit of a misnomer. Let me finish, bro.
Go ahead.
Hey, Becca, can you moderate 1 minute while I change my son?
Then it says, like the Phoenician alphabet, the Paleo Hebrew contains 22 letters, all of which are consonants. So there's no vowels in that alphabet. Yes, that's another thing there. And it said and this is described as abjad. The term was coined by Solomon Brandbaum in 1954. So how is someone coining terms in Paleo Hebrew when Paleo Hebrew was supposed to be before him, but he's making now terms in the language? How is that possible? Can someone?
Because there's a difference between language and script. When you say Paleo Hebrew, you're talking about a script. That's not the audible language. You know, the Moabites use that script. The Arameans use that script. Even the Babylonians use that script. It's just a script.
Okay.
But the language you audibly speak is something different. Like I said, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's what it is in German. That's what it is in Spanish. That's what it is in French. But just because German use A, B, C, D, E, F, G, if you gave me something written in German, I'm not going to understand any of it, even though it's using the same letters that I use.
But
when we talk about...
No, but you do understand that English is a mixture of French, German, Latin.
Yes, but I can't understand German if you put it in front of me. Listen, just because languages are related, and English is actually related to German, that doesn't mean I can understand German if somebody speaks it to me.
Okay.
Just because there's similarity. So you have Aramaic, you have Hebrew, okay, and you got Canaanite. So they're all related, but if a Canaanite person talks to somebody who speaks Aramaic, that Aramaic person is not going to understand anything that Canaanite, maybe a word here or there, just like there's some German words that you might be able to pick up. But overall, they're not going to be able to understand each other. They develop in different languages. Now, as far as script, yes, the Hebrew script evolved out of the Canaanite script. But by the time you get to the 1st century or even the 3rd century AD, it starts to break away from that Paleo Hebrew script, which is borderline Phoenician script. And if you want to call it Phoenician script, that's not even a problem either, because the words that they're making out are not Phoenician words, even though they're using the script.
Okay. So now
exactly. So it's like just listen. You might see the same word, like red in Spanish and red, exactly the same letters, same script. But that don't mean the same things. Mackie, man, why can't, like, what's wrong with you? I'm saying, just because they're written in the same language, and like in the same exact script, that don't mean they mean the same things in 2 different languages. So that's all I'm saying.
BP. And you pull out Aramaic and Yiddish on the screen, please. Oh, we're gonna settle this once and for all. I'm done with all the
Paleo Hebrew.
No, we done Paleo Hebrew, and we realized.
Come on, guys! I just went to change my son, man, and this descended into chaos.
No, I
Rambo.
Hey, listen, man.
For 5 minutes, innit?
Next question, please.
Damn. Yeah, sorry, I had to change my son.
You're talking about bloody alphabets and language.
I'm trying to understand the language, though, Rambo. That's all it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but come on, man. We all know that from... We know these things, bro.
I don't. I'm going to be honest, Rambo. I don't. This is news to me. No, I don't. I don't.
No problem.
That's why I'm asking to pull it up. Yeah, you can pull up.
I don't also know this is quite good, because then I can teach my kids.
All right, whichever one first proves my point. Because if you pull the Yiddish, you're going to find out where the Hebrew came from, right? Pull up the Aramaic, you're going to...
I'm going to give this one. I'm going to give this. If you're going to go language, I'm going to give you like 8 minutes.
Wow, back you.
Gentle back and forth now. Gentle back and forth, please. Thank you. Time starts now.
Let me read the definition first.
Go on,
the language was used in Central Eastern Europe before the Holocaust. It was originally a German dialect with words from Hebrew and several modern languages, and still have some 200,000 speakers, mainly in the US, Israel, and Russia.
Thank you very much.
Maku.
Let me go to Aramaic.
Go on. Let him go.
Can we go to the next one? Can we go to Aramaic, please?
Here's the gentle rebuttal.
No, Alvin, let them finish.
I wanted a gentle rebuttal.
You're not going to do that.
No gentle rebuttal. Okay.
Come on. You both get 4 minutes each. So you lot are messing up your time. You got another.
Beefy, thank you very much. Can you pull the next word, please?
Okay.
And you guys got 3 minutes left.
Aramaic scripts, square scripts, classical Syriac is a language group of languages belonging to the Semitic subfamily of the Afro-Asiatic language family, more specifically, parts of the Northwest Semitic group, which also includes the Canaanite languages such as Hebrew, Phoenician, Aramaic alphabet, which was widely adopted by other languages as ancestral to the Hebrew, Syriac, and Arabic alphabets. During its approximately 3,100 years of history, Aramaic has served variously as a language of administration of empires, as a language of divine worship, religious study, and as a spoken tongue of a number of Semitic people and from the Near East. Historically, Aramaic was a language of Arameans, a Semitic speaking people of the region between the northern Levant and northern Euphrates Valley by around 1000 BC. The Armenians had a string of kingdoms in which is now present. This was now part of Western Syria. Aramaic rose to prominence under the Neo-Assyrian Empire, 911 to 605 BC, under whose influence Aramaic was prestige language.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Go on, you got
go.
2 minutes left, Matt.
Yeah, but
I need 2
minutes. Do I need 2 minutes, or has the whole thing just been explained? Yeah.
But no, I'm just saying, innit? Because once it gets to 4 minutes, it's gonna be their turn to rebuttal, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my screen so share so everyone can read at home as well.
So my point is, again, Aramaic is the root language. You get what I'm saying? It sounds more biblical. It's based in it. You know, man are writing holy texts in it. You get what I'm saying? It's an African language. You get what I'm saying? So this Yiddish, this Yiddish that has roots in what?
German. I'll share my screen.
Come on.
German Dutch, I think it's German Dutch.
This is where you're getting your Hebrew from.
Can I please respond?
Hold on, bro. They got 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Alvin, and then you can respond.
Yeah, while I bang the final nail in the coffin.
What I was reading there, it's all here.
Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, bam, 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 bam. Is the
20 seconds.
Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. I'm just gonna stick the nails in, and I dare a motherfucker try and rebuttal this. Go.
Hold on, you got 8 seconds left.
Yeah, sorry. Bam, 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 bam. There was one nail not fully in. Bam, bam, bam.
All right, God, go. Hebrews, go. Come on.
Okay. First off, how can Hebrew come out of Yiddish when Yiddish didn't even exist till 1200 AD? This is how idiotically insane this is.
Exactly.
The Isaiah scroll is written in Hebrew over almost 1300 years before the Yiddish language even exists. Yiddish is what happened when Jews started to become Germanized. We talked about Hellenization, right? We talk about Americanization. Yiddish is a result of Jews going into Germany and started blending in Hebrew with German. That's where you get Yiddish. It is absolutely idiotically insane to suggest the Hebrew language comes out of Yiddish. It is insanity. Okay. Now, number two, let me show you this screen, because let's stop playing games here. Okay. So look, this is the Semitic evolution.
Wait. 1 second. Let me share the screen so everyone can see.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Present me. There we go. This is the evolution of the Semitic language. Hold on, I'm gonna let you present me. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the evolution of the Semitic language. The oldest Semitic language that they have on record is Akkadian, either Akkadian or Eblite, 2500 BC. And then you can see how it gradually goes on. So then you have Assyrian, then you have Aramaic right here, 1000 BC, and you have Hebrew right here, somewhere between 1000 BC and 1100. And then before that, you got Proto-Canaanite, Ugaritic, and then you have Amorite. This is the evolution of the Semitic family tree. It goes Akkadian, Eblite, then it goes Ugaritic, Proto-Canaanite, and Hebrew. Then you get Aramaic, and then you get down here Moabite, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is the evolution.
Okay,
Yiddish didn't exist 1100 BC.
Hold on, Beefy. Let him finish. Let him finish. He's got some time left.
Okay, so Yiddish did not exist in 1100 BC. This is the evolution of the Hebrew. It's Hebrew, Proto-Canaanite, Ugaritic, Amorite, and either Eblite, or Akkadian. Okay, and then it goes into modern Hebrew, what you speak today. Now, the Hebrew people speak today is not the Hebrew that people were speaking in the 3rd and 4th century BC. Just like the English we're speaking today is not the same English they spoke in 1000 AD. So look, there's nothing else this is what it is, basically. And so whose TV is that?
It's fine about that.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, I'm done. That's all I have to say.
Can I ask you a question though? You see
Yes.
on your chart there, big up Terry in the building.
Whose TV is that?
It's Rambo.
Mr. Riggs, I think there might be, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Because there's a space for you, Mr. Riggs, because I know you bring a lot of DeLeo. You're very unbiased. Let's bring DeLeo. And we're going to have you on.
You got 30 seconds left, unless you lot wanted me to start the clock again, so you lot can do. He's done?
No, wait. No, the Hebrew, yeah, you got on your chart there, or the 1500, it says 1500 Hebrew. Which people were speaking that Hebrew, and where were they? Which region were they in?
They were in the regions of Judah and Israel. I gave you the map earlier.
Top.
You want to see them? Oh, my bad. Go ahead. That was
Go on. Sorry, I was talking to my son. Go on.
Oh,
keep talking.
There was in the regions of Judah and Israel. They were speaking that.
So that's the earliest Hebrew, yeah.
Yeah,
that's from the
Hebrew
perspective.
This is the language. This is not the script. Now, the language has a different evolution. I mean, the script has a different evolution. So this is the evolution of the.
I'm talking about the language.
Okay, so this is
language.
So this is the evolution of the language. Now, the evolution of the script starts in Egypt. So the script, the letters.
Listen, I'll ask about the language. I know you already explained about the script being different from the language. Now,
so this is the language. This chart right here is the evolution of the language. See, Semitic languages. So it starts right here with the Akkadians, 2500 BC. That's the oldest Semitic language. And then you have Eblite, and then Amorite, and then you go into Assyrian, and then in 1500 you start getting Ugaritic, Proto-Semitic, Proto-Canaanite. And then Hebrew is right here in the middle between 1500 and 1000. This is where the Hebrew language starts forming. And then you get Eblite. Then you get Ammonite, Moabite, and Edomite. Then you also got Aramaic right here. But this is the evolution of the Semitic family tree.
Okay,
this is where the language comes from. It doesn't come from Yiddish.
One second. Okay, now that language, yeah. That time on your chart, where does Moses appear on your chart? Which time period?
Where does what?
Moses come about?
Moses will be right in this 1500. This little area right here. Between Ugaritic, Proto-Canaanite, and like right here. Proto-Canaanite and Ugaritic.
So before that, there was no Hebrew language, yes?
No, there wasn't no Hebrew language right here. Not this time period, no.
All right. Matthew, you want to come in?
Well, it's all right, but I must have it going.
Hold on one second.
Ezra got a mute.
Beefy. Another language that's not on this chart that is very fundamental is Chaldean. Yeah? So look up the word, look up the language. Chaldean, right? Because when you get certain Hebrew chart, websites where you can translate the language is Hebrew, yeah, Aramaic, and Chaldean. You got what I'm saying? I wonder why the language of Abraham himself, yeah, is not on that chart. It's very, very
Because
Abraham would have spoke the language that would have been spoken in the Chaldean regions or in the land of Ur.
Chaldean is an actual language. You're gonna find out. So you know, it's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? And it's not my fault that a man.
So what's the issue? What's the issue there?
Hold on. Let Maku land. Let him land.
That chart is homemade, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it suits whatever man's purpose was for making that chart. But it's not based in any reality. You already got the white boys information as in the Wikipedia version of it. Like, and they're not really that wrong when it comes to the root and the thing of language. This is why we study language, so we know what we're talking about.
So you're a linguist.
That's why.
Oh, let him land. Let him land, please. Come on, man. Let him land, please.
My bad.
That is why what you're saying don't make no sense. There's no Proto-Hebrew and all of this and Proto-Canaanite and blah, blah, blah. The Akkadians, later on to be called Assyrians, later on, they were always Canaanites. You know what I'm saying? It's not a language. It's just the people. The people spoke Akkadian, Babylonian, Chaldean. Come on. This is just common sense. I don't know what you're doing.
Can you give me a chart
These are
that
all
confirms what you're saying?
All Semitic languages in the Semitic language group. I'm telling you.
Give me a chart that confirms what you say.
Alvin, slow down. Let Ezra, let Maku land, and then let Ezra rebuttal him because Ezra hasn't spoken.
Now,
Maku, beg you one question, fam.
What I did when I was thinking about
Maku.
Yes.
Now you gotta go on to another topic.
No,
Ezra.
To the point. I'm sticking to the point.
Maku, 1 second. I'm stuck on something you said, innit? I want clarification on something you said.
Okay, go.
But what I'm saying is, like, according to you, what language is the Dead Sea Scrolls written in?
Aramaic.
Or the whole thing's in Aramaic?
No, most of it is in Aramaic. I don't know. I can't.
So what other language is it written in?
I swear there's supposedly a little Hebrew or something in there. I don't know how that works. So. But
so you don't know?
The majority that is in the Rockefeller or whatever museum.
Even on the internet talking.
He's being dishonest.
Hold on. Hold on. Let him land.
I haven't spoken in a while. Can I speak after?
The majority of it,
right, you can.
The majority of it that they've translated, and they haven't translated all of it. So that's what.
Maku, one criticism I have for you. Maku, hold on, please.
Let him land.
He's been landing for 2 hours, bro.
He ain't been landing for 2 hours. They've been going back and forth. Come on, man.
Keep quiet. Yeah?
As I said, now you're trying to run away from the fact that on your chart you never had the Chaldean language, and you claim that the Akkadian, which is obviously at the same time as the Babylonian, but you never mentioned the Sumerian. You never mentioned none of these languages that were prior. You get what I'm saying? And all of this still comes after the flood. So they're all Shemitic languages. In that, we're not talking about the Romantic languages that come out of Sanskrit.
Terry, you want to join on?
That give you your Latin. You understand? So we know the root of language. This is the plain and simple, bro. Yeah. And then you're gonna come and say, it was okay because we were speaking Greek. So you're not even gonna go with Aramaic. You're not even
Can I speak now?
Hebrew.
All right, Maku, let him go now.
Finally, plane is landed. Woo! Okay.
All right, louder up hominins. Come on, man. Just
okay. Sorry about that. All right. To respond to Maki, my problem with his last statement that was made, I think Ezra asked him a question about what languages were in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he seemed to me, anyway, very reluctant to say the word Hebrew. Even though he full well knows it's present in the Dead Sea Scrolls, he had to say, I think there's a little bit of Hebrew. According to the statistics, there's actually more Hebrew than anything in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So I think personally, you have a issue with accepting the presence of the Hebrew language BC or even AD. I think you actually have a problem with the Hebrew language itself, because not once have I heard you acknowledge the presence of the Hebrew language. I'm actually starting to believe that you don't even think it ever existed.
but that would go literally against all the evidence that has been presented to you today. So I just want to ask this question just for clarification on what's just been said. Do you believe that there was a language called Hebrew? Yes or no?
All right, Maku, go, man. I'm going to start the counter again.
Let me quick one. I'll ask a question that doesn't need to be answered. Why was the Passion of Christ done in Aramaic, not Hebrew?
So is that an answer? Is that an answer to my question?
One at a time.
No, shush. He did not answer my question. You know that, right? He didn't answer my question.
Maku, answer his question.
Right.
Answer his question.
So, you're saying like I'm reluctant or something about the Hebrew, yeah?
No, I asked you a question. I said, is there such a language called Hebrew, and did it exist? And if it did, who came up with it? Because you seem to think it came up from somewhere. Who came up with it? Right. Give me the dates and so on. Go on. I want to see what you think about it.
I gave you the people, yeah? These Ashkenazims, yeah? These decided to resurrect a language from the Aramaic. It can only be that the ancient texts were not in Hebrew. They were in Aramaic and other texts. You know what I'm saying?
Can I please?
But you just said.
All right. Listen, can you let Maku land? No, seriously, they're giggling. If you're gonna laugh, just mute because you just.
These Ashkenazim Jews,
these
fake Jews, these fake Russians, these fake what do you call it, Greeks or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? Because they're all amalgamated, they're all the same people, just moving all over Europe. That's another story. You know what I'm saying? No. So these Ashkenazim, want to claim a religion. Right? They want to claim a religion. So they've taken it on, right? And now they're writing texts themselves. So they have to write a Torah themselves. They have to write a Talmud themselves. You understand? And the language they use is their tongue. Their tongue is Yiddish. So when you think you're speaking Hebrew, you're speaking Yiddish.
No, Ezra.
One second.
Okay. So, come on. Can I respond to that, please?
Can I just crucify Sniper right quick?
Okay, Alvin. Can I say like
I got the nails ready.
Alvin, can I say two-liner, and then because I know you know more about the topic, you can go right after me. Is that fine?
No, he still never answered the question. No,
I know he didn't answer the question, and this is what I want to say quickly before Alvin goes. Maku, I think you have a false conception of the construction of Hebrew. You've applied this to the Yiddish, even though it's been very clearly explained to you previously that Yiddish language is a Germanic perversion of the Hebrew language. And obviously, we know that this is far younger than the actual Hebrew language. So you failed to answer my question. You've given me an accurate date, an accurate names, an accurate. You've given me in an accurate order, and I'm sorry, bro. You gotta do some more research. But anyway, go ahead.
Can I, as a moderator, can I just interject? How do we know that your dates are accurate?
He's gone. He left. Okay, so look.
Yeah, car. I swear. Hold on. Stop the laughing. Come on, guys. Let's be serious. Come on, guys. Come on. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna say that what Maku said was wrong, have you got Dalil to say that what he said was wrong?
Yes. Have Dalil to prove what he said.
Yeah, Maku. I'm gonna ask Maku. Rambo, can you mute, please? Rambo.
I proved my point. I asked Beefy to pull the examples on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So until they can rebuttal those answers, it's not me that has to prove anything.
Zulu, Maki.
Hold on one second. And it didn't even.
Hold on. Let him finish. Let him finish, Ezra. Let him finish, and then you can go.
It didn't even rebuttal the evidence that man pulled up. So if man the Dalil's there. Aramaic. Defeat Aramaic.
All right, Maki, 1 second. Let me just go through.
Let Ezra say his point.
Look, all I'm saying is, Maki spent that last how long talking about there's no Hebrew. All of this talk, and I asked him a simple question.
He
So
didn't.
what
I didn't
language?
actually hear him say there was no Hebrew. I think he said
Yeah,
it was.
that's what
It
he's
was.
been saying.
It was revived
That's,
after a certain time. I think that's
no.
what
Yeah, he's talking about Yiddish, innit? That's what I'm saying. But we talk. He was saying there's no Hebrew. It's all Aramaic. Yeah, that's what he was saying. So then I clearly asked him. So what languages? Yeah, is the Dead Sea Scrolls written in? The man said Hebrew and
No, he said Aramaic
Yeah.
and there might be a bit of Hebrew in there. That's what I heard him say.
Yeah, Hebrew and Aramaic, innit?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So how can there, on one hand, be no Hebrew, then on the other hand, it's written somewhere? Like, come on, man.
Well, I've heard in some corners that some people think that then Dead Sea Scrolls are fake, and it was a bit convenient that they found them. But that's for another.
So wait, if Hebrew is made by the Yiddish,
hold on, Zulu, chill out, because you left and then you come back in. You get me?
Yeah.
That was me. Maku never said. Hold on. Maku never said that. I said that. So this is something we can go on another topic.
Clearly said, yeah, we can all pull it back after anyway. He clearly said there's no such thing as Hebrew. He's been saying it. Yeah. So what we're saying is,
no sense, bro. That don't make no sense because.
All right, Maku, 1 second, man. Let me finish.
Hold on. Let him finish, Maku, and then you can go, and then we can have a decent back and forth.
Please let me go next.
All I'm saying is,
hold on, Alvin.
Man. All I'm saying is, if the Dead Sea Scrolls are fake or not, yeah, they're still written in Hebrew, like he already confirmed for us all. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So the argument's dead. Let's move on to something else.
No, you're
after
just
the man over there.
Alvin wanted to say something.
Please, I got these bullets. I've been holding on to them for like the past 15 minutes.
Good. Yeah, but you're being disingenuous saying that, though, Ezra. You get what I'm saying? Because I told you that the Dead Sea Scrolls that they have in the Rockefeller Museum in Tel Aviv or whatever, in Aramaic, what they've translated so far. Plain and simple, bro. You get what I'm saying? Oh, is that you, BP? Go on, Chaldean.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay,
that's Alvin. That's Alvin.
Yeah, this is me. Okay, so let's deal with this. Michael, you make so many errors. I could write a book on all the errors you make. First of all, let's look at the date of the Chaldeans. Okay, the Chaldeans is like 884 BC to 859 BC. Okay, Abraham. Let's go to Abraham. Abraham lived in the 2nd millennium BC. What you don't understand is him being called a Chaldean is what we call a redaction, because these texts were written during the Persian period where Chaldeans exist, and that area was called Chaldea at the time. Just like how sometimes when you see some History Channel specials, or even you go to some colleges, they'll call King Cyrus Iranian. Even though that place wasn't called Iranian at the time, it's in the region of Iran. So Abraham was in the region that was later called Chaldea, but when Abraham was alive, that place wasn't called Chaldea. So he would not be speaking Chaldean, which again, right here, Chaldean is Aramaic. It's called Neo-Aramaic. It's not its own unique language. It's just a newer form of Aramaic. And if you go back to this chart, and if you go,
hold on.
Everybody mute. Everybody mute. Oh, Beefy's back. I was about to say, what the hell happened to Beefy? All right, go, Maku.
And then when you go back to this chart, there's no.
No, let Alvin finish, man. What the hell is that all about? Come on, man.
Hold on, let him finish.
And then when you go back to this chart, there is no need to put in another Aramaic when Chaldean is already Aramaic. Now, I will say this, moderator, brother moderator, right?
Yeah.
If you notice, throughout this entire conversation, the only people showing sources for any of their arguments have been us. Michael has yet to produce any documentation to support his argument.
He said
every single thing I have brought up, I bring you documentation of what I'm bringing up.
Okay.
Michael just says something to be true just because he says it's true. I don't say something is true just because I say it's true. I bring up articles and documentation. So if he is saying Aramaic is before Hebrew and everything comes out of Aramaic and Hebrew is just some Yiddish, I would like him to provide documentation of his argument from the consensus like I've been giving. I haven't dug up some Hebrew Israelite article. I'm giving you the damn Encyclopedia Britannica. General information. So if what he says is true, I would like to him bring up me a source from professional linguists, not some random blogger off YouTube or on Facebook. Give me a professional linguist that does this by trade that says Hebrew is just a spin-off of Yiddish and comes from Aramaic. Give me that. Because I'm tired of giving sources and then you refute them with nothing. But you're just saying because you say so.
I'm starting the timer again for 12 minutes. Maku, he wants you to provide some Delil in it. So you're gonna have to provide some Delil in it because obviously that's what we all agreed.
Supposedly, yeah. When I brought the Delil, you see, man are trying to get around what man is trying to say. Yeah. You ran all around the houses. You went to Chaldean and found out it was a form of Aramic. Right. Now, we have to ask the question. Common sense says, was Abraham a Chaldean? Huh?
No.
Because this Chaldea that
Hold
you're
on.
talking about...
Don't interrupt, Alvin. Come on now.
1 second. Yeah. It's after Christ's death. You said BC. I mean, AD.
I said BC. I said BC. Oh my God.
Alvin, come on. Let him finish. Alvin, if he's made a mistake, if he's made a mistake, then correct him after, innit? Because no point you correcting him while he's speaking it.
No, that was cool.
My bad.
Cool.
Go ahead.
No. It's cool. That was fine. Because obviously, I really wanted, obviously, from him that correction. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
What he was saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so,
go.
My main point now, yeah? You're saying, like, I said Chaldean. You get what I'm saying? You say Chaldea, yeah? A people who came at a particular time and it couldn't have been in the time of Abraham. Now, most Israelites, yeah, and most Christians and most people of any common sense